Gomashi. Actually, the Mama Jaramedo of Aflao is a traditional name. Distinguished invited guests, there's a drum appellation that would accompany the arrival of the president. The reason is very simple. Communication has evolved over time. But back then, drums were used to signal messages, to tell the story, and to bring the news to us. Right after the drum presentation and appellation, the President of the Republic would address us. Let the drums begin. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, goes up stage now. Sir.
Minister for Information, the Minister for Education, Deputy Minister for Information, the former Deputy Minister for Tourism and Culture, Deputy Director General of UNESCO, President of the ECOWAS Court of Justice, UN Resident Representative in Ghana, Ghana's Ambassador to UNESCO, Ambassador of the Republic of Colombia to Ghana, the Executive Chair, Namibia Media Trust, the Chair of the International Jury for the World Freedom Prize, President of the Ghana Journalists Association, the Executive Secretary of the National Media Commission, members and friends of the media, members of the Diplomatic Corps, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very grateful to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, for the invitation to participate in this year's World Press Freedom Day, which is being held in our capital city of Accra for the first time on the theme, Keeping Power in Check, Media, Justice, and the Rule of Law. We are proud to host this year's event. Those of you who come from beyond our shores are welcome amongst the people who pride themselves on their sense of hospitality. I know you've already been here for a day or two, and I hope you're enjoying your stay amongst us. Akwaba, as you know by now, is our word of welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, on 7th January this year, we celebrated the silver jubilee of our nation's Fourth Republic. It has proved to be the most enduring and most successful of the four republics of our history. Its constitution has enabled us to establish our state on sound democratic principles, grounded on the separation of powers. Though the constitution of the Fourth Republic guarantees freedom of expression, including freedom of the press and other media, as a fundamental human right, and makes elaborate provisions to protect the freedom and independence of the media, the existing laws, which were continued in force by the same Constitution, contained colonial laws in our statute books that were manifestly anti-libertarian and repressive of free speech. That is why, as Attorney General, under the government of the great Ghanaian statesman, His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor, the second President of the Fourth Republic, I led the process in Parliament for the repeal of the criminal libel law. The repeal, when it occurred on 27 July 2001, was a very happy day for me, representing one of the high points of my public career. The repeal has had a very positive impact on the development of the Ghanaian media, freeing it from unnecessary self-censorship and promoting a robust and critical media culture. In the process, it has contributed to the growth of a vibrant media that has won Ghana the reputation of having one of the most media-friendly and liberal climates on the continent. It has also contributed significantly to the deepening of democracy in our country, enhancing public accountability as a strategic goal of public policy. The parlous justification preferred for the retention of the criminal libel law has been that its repeal has made Ghanaian media practitioners reckless and unprofessional in their work, thereby at times damaging the good image and name of public figures and endangering society as a whole. Even as one of the public figures most constantly vilified in sections of the Ghanaian media, and who ironically was a principal actor in the repeal of the law, I continue to insist that its repeal was necessary in the public interest in our emerging democracy. I will say again that I much prefer the noisy, boisterous, sometimes scurrilous media of today to the monotonous, praise-singing, sycophantic one of yesteryear. The Ghanaian media has, in fact, enriched the nation's governance by its curiosity, investigative skills, and persistence. Today, the Ghanaian citizen is able to give boldly and freely his or her feedback on policies and programs of government. Civil society groups are able to interrogate fearlessly government actions and positions, compare them to global best practices, and offer views and critiques aimed at complementing the efforts of government. And the political opposition is able to raise dissent openly, canvass for alternative viewpoints, and by so doing, offer our citizens alternatives to consider on all key issues of our national discourse. No wonder Ghana is, according to Reporters Without Borders, the #1 country in Africa in the Global Press Freedom Index. Long may it remain so. Nonetheless, we recognize the need for training, critical engagement by society with our media, self-regulation, and insistence on media ethics and journalistic standards by media houses, practitioners, and their organizations as part of the process of building a culture of high standards and professionalism in the Ghanaian media. This has largely been accepted as the means of addressing the current shortcomings and ills of our media landscape. As we celebrate World Press Freedom, it is still disheartening to note that though proven to be a catalyst in spurring the advancement of societies in the 21st century, we still have many countries that frown on or even criminalize free speech. The fact that this year's award winner Mahmoud Abu Zaid, also known as Shoka, is in jail for, as it were, taking photos, is a signal to us that our generation still has much ground to cover. I use this opportunity to call on all governments the world over to put an end to state-sponsored acts that seek to restrict the practice of journalism. When supported, the free press has the potential to quicken the development of societies. Indeed, a democracy has no place for a media that does not keep a government on its toes. Ladies and gentlemen, on a day like this, it is important to consider some of the emerging challenges to press freedom. Like many other good things, freedom of the press has its own associated risks and inherent challenges, especially in this age of social media. I will focus only on two of these challenges, as I know your deliberations in these 2 days will deal with a good number of them. First is the risk of deliberate misinformation campaigns by some elements in the democratic space. And second is the risk of inadvertent misinformation by media practitioners, often in their desire to be first with the news and thus get a punchy, juicy headline. As is unfolding before our very eyes on a daily basis, deliberate misinformation campaigns, which in themselves are not new in politics or war, have now gained added currency with the proliferation of media channels. This is not only the preserve of enemy states in times of war, but has also now become a vociferous tool of political actors who aim to win public relations battles by fabricating or twisting facts and churning them out either through traditional media or new media channels as news. This is a major threat to the integrity of the news world as we have known it. It is not something to be left only to regulators to deal with. It is something that the whole world of media practitioners must resolutely confront and assist the society to identify and eliminate. If not, it has a tendency to undermine the very profession they practice and may in the long term lead to significant weakening of the entire industry with its rippling, potentially catastrophic effects on the broader society. The second risk we have to guard against is that of inadvertent misinformation that is sometimes published by mainstream media, which also has the potential to lead all of us in a race to the bottom. This happens when there is a little twist of facts, often to get the best headline, or a publication of the unverified claim in the haste to be first in breaking the news. The worrying trend is that in many cases, even after the public has been misinformed and the true facts are later made known, mainstream media often chickens out of an honest, open acknowledgement that we erred. The choice is often to sweep it under the carpet and move on to the next big story. To guard against this second risk, which increases as media channels increase, let me encourage media owners in particular to invest continuously in building the capacity of their staff. The media has immeasurable power to build up the confidence and values of our societies and institutions, and therefore ought to be assisted in being on top of its game at all times. I call on practitioners the world over also to take a second look at the power they wield and the responsibility they owe society, with a view to ensuring that they do not sacrifice integrity and the future of our societies for today's headline or breaking news. In Ghana, we're going further in our exercise to empower the citizen, media, and civil society. The much-awaited Right to Information Bill has now been laid before Parliament. We look forward to its swift passage when Parliament resumes and its full application so that all stakeholders can have access to information with which we can all play our roles in realizing our vision of building a progressive and prosperous Ghana, a Ghana beyond aid. That is our goal, to build a free, prosperous, independent country that will make its own unique contribution to the growth of world civilization. In conclusion, let me congratulate heartily Shokan on the award of the World Press Freedom Prize. He has not been forgotten. I encourage all participants in this two-day event to engage on the many various issues before you with the same candor and passion with which you do your work on a daily basis. And as you go about your deliberations, remember that the sanctity of the future of press freedom is very much in your hands. I assure you that the Ghanaian people will continue to defend the right to free expression to the very end because of their determination to build a free, open society with accountable governance. They have manifested in the Fourth Republic their deep attachment to the principles of democratic accountability, respect for individual liberties and human rights, and the rule of law. It is this attachment that has enabled us to continue to produce intrepid media practitioners such as Elizabeth Ohene, Tommy Thompson, Ibn Kwaku, Cabral Blay Amehe, Kofi Komson, Kwaku Bako, Kwaku Sechi-Addo, Yao Graham, Kwesi Pratt, Gina Blay, Gabby Otsredako, Egbert Fable Jr., Ken Cranche, Anas Arimiao Anas, Kwame Sefakai, Bernard Avni, and Manasseh Azuri Awuni. Who have demonstrated fearless commitment to press freedom, no matter the cost. Once again, let me thank UNESCO for honoring Accra with this event, and may God bless us all. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who may not know,